When I think about that night, the taste of regret still burns in my mouth. The night I humiliated the only man who ever truly loved me, and he finally snapped. Now I'm sitting in this cheap motel room, staring at a blinking cursor on my laptop, trying to figure out how I managed to sabotage the only good thing in my life. I wasn't always like this. When Nathan and I first met, I was a fiery 20-year-old communications student, full of loud opinions and ambition. He was the opposite, quiet, thoughtful, with a gentleness that made me feel safe. Our first date was a rain-soaked disaster that ended with us dancing in a downpour, laughing like absolute fools. In that moment, I felt like the world had handed me something truly rare. He loved me in ways I never appreciated. He'd hide little notes in my purse. He'd make me breakfast in bed, even on days when he was exhausted from work and his proposal. It made every single guest at the party cry. When we got married, I believed we were unbreakable, and for a while, we were. But then comfort turned into routine, and routine turned into a suffocating boredom. I decided to become a housewife, even though we didn't have kids yet, and Nathan supported me completely. He worked overtime, taking extra shifts just to give me the life I thought I wanted. At first, I loved it. I decorated, cooked, and played the part of the perfect homemaker. But as the days blurred together, I grew restless. My friends only made it worse. They'd visit with wine and stories of promotions, travels, and adventures. Compared to them, I felt trapped. Not by Nathan, but by myself, but instead of admitting that, I blamed him. I stopped waking up early to make him coffee. I stopped cleaning the house, I just stopped caring. Nathan would come home from a 12-hour day and quietly start washing the dishes, doing laundry, or cooking dinner. And I'd watch him with a disdain I couldn't even explain. Every time he met my anger with kindness, I hated him a little more. And then I did something unforgivable. I turned him into a joke. It started at a girls' night. One drink led to 3, and suddenly I was performing, telling exaggerated stories about my pathetic, whipped husband who would drive for hours just to get me sushi. My friends laughed, and for the first time in months I felt admired. That rush became an addiction. I mocked his love, his efforts, and his devotion. With every joke, I chipped away at the man who had only ever tried to give me everything. I didn't see the change in him at first. The light dimming in his eyes, the weight settling on his shoulders, the way he'd flinch when I raised my voice. I was too self-absorbed to see I was destroying him. Then came the night he heard everything. I'd invited my friends over without even telling him. We were tipsy, loud, and cruel. I was in the middle of a story, bragging about how Nathan is basically my maid, when I heard the silence. I turned around and saw him standing in the doorway, his eyes hollow, his face pale, his heart visibly broken. He didn't yell, he just walked away. The next morning, his note was short: "Working late. Don't wait up." No smiley face. No affection. The warmth in his voice was gone. He became polite, distant, like I was a stranger. I tried to flirt, to cook for him, to apologize, but it was too late. The final blow came at a neighborhood barbecue. I showed up determined to pretend everything was fine. I talked too loud, laughed too hard, and when someone joked about controlling husbands, I fell right back into my old habit. I mocked him, his cleaning, his devotion, his love. I didn't notice the whole yard had gone silent. But he did. Nathan walked up behind me, his face cold and unfamiliar. "We need to talk." He took me aside as everyone watched. His voice was soft, steady, and deadly. "I'm done." I froze. "I've forgiven you, Emily, over and over? But you don't respect me. I won't be your punchline any longer." He told me my things would be packed when I got home. The locks would be changed. His lawyer would be in touch. I begged, I sobbed, I promised to change. But he just said, "Actions matter. And yours showed me exactly what I am to you. Nothing." That night, my suitcases were on the porch. My keys didn't work. He didn't answer my calls. My friends, the ones who cheered me on, stopped picking up their phones. For weeks, I tried everything. Flowers, apologies, showing up at his door. He never wavered. One evening, he looked at me with empty eyes and said, "Leave before I call the police." That's when I finally got it. I had lost him. And it was all my fault. Months passed. I got a tiny apartment, a job at a diner, and started therapy. It was humiliating to realize how emotionally immature and insecure I'd been, but I needed that humility. Then one day I saw him at the grocery store. He wasn't alone. His arm was around a beautiful brunette, and the way he smiled at her, the same smile he once gave me, shattered me. He was happy. Happier than he'd ever been with me. A year later, I saw him again at a friend's wedding. He was there with the same woman, now his fiancée. He approached me at the bar. "Hello, Emily." My voice trembled, but I congratulated him, and I meant it. He smiled gently. "You look well. I hope life's treating you better." As he turned to leave, I whispered, "I'm sorry for everything." He paused. "Thank you. Take care of yourself." As he walked back to his new life, I felt the final weight lift. I had lost him forever. But maybe, in doing so, I had finally found myself. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe for more.